It's day 193 of the self-quarantine today here in Los Angeles. The Bobcat fire is still wreaking havoc here in Los Angeles. It has so far been characterized as one of the largest wildfires in Los Angeles' history. The firefighters have been battling for the past 2 weeks to put out these fires. But because of the rough terrain, because of the heat, because of the dryness of that land, it hasn't rained for a very long time. We're still in the middle of a drought here in California, and the high winds, that is just a perfect storm of a massive blaze that has no end. So far, the Bobcat fire has destroyed 109,000 acres and still continuing and rising up in its destruction. So far, it's only been contained 17%. The firefighters for the past 2 weeks have been working tirelessly 24/7 without any rest, and it's still not enough. The firefighters are asking all the civilians in the nearby areas where the Bobcat fire is getting closer and closer to be aware, be alert that you might have to evacuate, you might have to have an emergency bag, to have all the essentials, all the important documents, some clothes, some food, and a radio to keep getting alerts of what's going on with the fires. But they're also urging patience because this fire is not going to go anytime soon, and it's going to take such a tremendous effort of the firefighters to put it out. Earlier today, I actually went to Best Buy. I wanted to check a lot of the electronics that I was interested in because it's not enough to see it online or on Amazon. I wanted to see it and maybe have a chance to actually physically look at it. But before going there, I actually went to the gas station. And when I was about to put gas in my car, I noticed that there were Lysol sprays in front of the cashier window. And I was kind of curious how much they were. So I asked the cashier, how much is the Lysol spray? And he basically said $12. And for me, at that very moment, it was a no-brainer. I had to buy it. And I actually have it with me right here. Look, the Lysol spray. This is actually worth more than gold at this very moment during this pandemic. This Lysol spray is virtually impossible to find in any of the department stores. It doesn't matter. Target, Walmart, Albertsons, Costco, Sam's. None of those stores have it at all. The places where you can actually find them is online or outside of stores where people are actually selling a lot of those disinfected sprays in like their small tents. The problem is you can't find that price of $12. They're basically gouging and ripping off people by like over the amount that is just outrageous. For example, my father actually bought a spray of this. The exact same spray that I'm holding, same size, for $40. And then I heard another case where another family member of mine bought it for $50. That's just insane. That's wrong, especially in a pandemic where everyone needs this. This is a way to kill the germs. This is a way to combat COVID-19. But when you're price gouging these people, what does that mean? That means that people in the very low economic scale are basically exempt from this. They can't get it. And I feel sorry for those individuals that had to pay that much. And I also feel sorry for the sellers who are doing this, because you can say it's capitalism. You can say that this is how the world works. Everyone's on their own, every man for themselves. But at the end of the day, it's a shame. That's all I have to say. It's very shameful. It's very greedy, and that's not showing the humanity or brotherhood that we should at this very moment. So luckily, that cashier from that gas station was very nice and didn't price gouge me by that much. It was only like double, because normally these sprays are worth anywhere between $6 to $7 at most. So it's not too bad. Then once I finished going to the gas station, I went to Best Buy. Everybody was social distancing. Everybody had masks. And they also had hand sanitizers everywhere you went. And they were also capping the number of people that were allowed to go inside. And that was actually pretty nice. And then right next door, there was actually a Ross store, and I was kind of curious to see what was around. And I couldn't believe the amount of hand sanitizer that they are. It was just a whole shelf of hand sanitizer. I couldn't believe it. And it's funny because in the early days of the pandemic, you couldn't find hand sanitizer at all, but now it's pretty easy to find. Now Lysol is the one thing that people are trying to find. It's hard to get, and it's getting expensive to get. So that was my interesting moment, or moments I should say, during today. Regarding the coronavirus here in Los Angeles, the number of cases, deaths, and hospitalizations continue to decrease. So far, that is good news for Los Angeles. That means that Angelinos are doing the simple things right, that we're wearing a mask, washing our hands, disinfecting our areas, social distancing. All those things accumulate into these low numbers. And if this trend continues in this trajectory, that can open up more opportunities. That means the economy starts to open up a little bit more jobs will be available, and even more places and events will be available for Angelinos, as long as there is limited capacity and that they follow the COVID-19 guidelines. But that is a possibility. We just have to aggressively continue this trend so we can have those opportunities. Now, unfortunately, there is some grim news. It was announced today by the Johns Hopkins University that the United States has surpassed 200,000 coronavirus-related deaths since the start of this pandemic. No other country in the world comes close to that. And the United States continues to be the world leading the most cases and the most deaths. Number one nation in the world for those things. And that's not something to be proud of. That's actually horrifying. That is a failure of the U.S. government. That is a failure of all levels, local, city, state, and federal. And it's because of their ignorance, it's because of their stupidity, it's because of just not listening to science. And now those 200,000 souls were the one that paid the price, unfortunately. And now we have to send our condolences to all those family members who are now involved in this tragedy. But if things don't get fixed sooner, we could be looking at a double of those numbers by the end of this year. So hopefully something does happen in a way where we can start acting much better, because this should not be happening, especially here in the US. So that is it for today's video. So everyone, stay strong, stay safe.